Alright, so my computer must have really decided to get cooking after getting embarrassed when I told everybody how slow she was being. This thing is flying now, but anyway, this is how we're going to correct the so-called egregious error of stacking labels, okay? Or components. This would happen to any component that you put in a swing JFrame if you didn't set up some kind of layout. Alright, so I've got my standard imports up here. Blah, blah, blah. Frame width, frame height. Here's my frame that I've constructed right there. I'm going to set size, set visible, default close operation, my label, my label. Now, here's what's different. I'm going to actually set up a layout to this thing. Now, remember when we talked a little while about Nimbus and we talked about, I can't remember, set default look and feel. It's that same kind of thing. This is something called flow layout, and I know we've talked about this before. Java comes with kind of this default layout that is sort of orientated toward north, south, east, and west. If you use flow layout, what happens is things sort of flow from the center and then around, kind of. As you experiment with it, you can see it. It's sort of like a left to right kind of thing, I think. It actually might be right to left. It doesn't really matter. You'll see when you play with it. There are some parameters that you can set to this. I've put the fast and dirty way of doing this in here. I've got my A-frame. I'm calling set layout on it. And I'm going to construct a new flow layout, because flow layout is also a method package that's available in the Swing package of Java, okay? This is the fast and dirty way, because when you do it this way, it's just setting the flow layout, but it's not really giving it any parameters. If you wanted to give it some parameters, I've got that commented out down here. You can play around with this, or you could do by saying or. What I mean is you've got to pick one or the other of these puppies. You can't do them all, okay? Because obviously you would get error codes, right? You'd have to have a few different flow layouts. You can't have it all be one thing. Alright, so here's my flow layout. Flow equals new flow layout. That's how you guys are pretty well used to constructing things, right? Look at the difference between this. A-frame set layout. I've got it all in parentheses, so the keyword new is in parens, and then we've got kind of these parens here. It's just a little different. As you're coding this up, do go ahead and code in all the commented sections so that you can just kind of compare and contrast. There's good reasons to do both from time to time. So here's the constants that it takes into its parameters. It'll either take right, left, or center. Alright, which is like right, left, and center justification, just like in a text editor. Alright, then you can pass in the name of your flow layout to the frame. Alright, up here, as you can see, we don't really have a specific flow layout named here. We're just setting the layout of this particular frame with the default flow layout that comes with Java. Okay, so if I wanted to make my own one, alright, and call it something so that I could make it do things that only I wanted to do to it, I might want to set it up a little differently than that. Alright, enough said. You can play around with this. Now here's what happens if I do all this nonsense, okay? Now my components are actually going to stack up nice, and people are going to be able to see my greeting and my question. Alright, exit on close. And let's stop this recording, and in our next episode we'll see what happens next.